Merry Christmas Eve, everybody! Hope you're having a happy holiday with your family and friends. Now, I've got quite a few questions from you all, so I'm not gonna waste any... Hold on a second. Howdy! Where's my Christmas suit? That's better. Now let's get on with it. Adam Marley asks, out of all Silver's moments in the Sonic series, which is your favorite? Believe it or not, the dorky exchange between him and Sonic and TSR. I don't know why, I just find that funny. Who makes for a better rival for Sonic, Shadow or Metal Sonic? Honestly, while Shadow is enough where you could make a decent argument, I prefer Metal Sonic. He was literally made to surpass Sonic in every way. Ajax10C asks, of the unique zones in Sonic Mania, which is your favorite? Probably Studiopolis. What is your favorite non-final boss in a Mario & Luigi game? Phantasma. Alex Scrappets asks, the Knuckles miniseries came out this year. What did you think of it? I actually never watched it, and from the looks of things, I don't think I will. Not many people seem to like it. I appreciate that you need a break from making Kingdom Hearts videos. Have you considered reaching out to experts on the franchise to help you accommodate your schedule? Yes, I have, and have even done so here and there, but right now, I don't think experts will be able to help with my fatigue. Amano Guerrero asks, will you be doing an E-Raw on some of the Sonic games you like? Maybe someday. There could be some interesting ones to do. Who is your favorite Sonic character? Silver the Hedgehog. Andrew Potts asks, have you considered making a list of the best and worst episodes of Death Battle? No, but that could be interesting and fun to do, picking out the best and worst episodes of each season. What's your favorite Christmas movie? How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Angry 9 Guy asks, you going to review Mario and Sonic? I've reviewed many Mario and Sonic games. I'm not sure what you're referring to, unless you're counting the Olympic games, in which case I don't think so. What do you think of Sonic Prime? I only finished the first season. It was pretty good, though I heard there's a steep decline in quality as it goes on. An Observer asks, what are your favorite Bros attacks in the Mario & Luigi games? The Dream Egg from Dream Team, the Mega Luigi from Paper Jam, and the Mega Mix Vortex from Brothership. Anthony Cuevas Productions asks, if you could have any Sonic character get their own game, who would it be? Silver the Hedgehog. What are you most excited to see in Sonic Movie 3? The fights between Sonic and Shadow. That's gonna go so hard, I just know it. Though I do hope the fights are longer than Sonic vs. Knuckles in Sonic Movie 2. Axel05 asks, if you had $1 million, what would you do with it? I'd live comfortably for the rest of my life in a giant mansion. Banner asks, if you ever met Chris Thorndike, what would be the first thing you'd say to him? I wouldn't say anything because I'd walk away on sight. Have you played any Rayman games? Only Legends and some of Origins. Though I did enjoy what I played. Bardock Skywalker asks, if Silver were to get a game of his own, what would you want the story to be about? I want it to be about him fighting Eggman Nega in the future, and maybe the Soul Dimension too, just so we could get some more Blaze and Silver interactions. Any thoughts of hiring an editor? I have some experience in the field and I can help you if you want. Well, I appreciate the offer, but I'm not currently interested in hiring an editor at this time. See, whenever I make these main videos, I have a very specific vision in mind for them, and translating that over to someone else wouldn't be very easy, if you know what I mean. And even with stuff like the tier list videos that Piffle does, he's able to just go hog wild with them. Maybe you could volunteer to be like a stream highlights editor or even tier list videos in the future, but right now for main videos, I think I'm cool doing them by myself. Thanks for the offer though. Battle for Ireland 06 asks, are there any shows on YouTube that you're interested in? Does Death Battle count? If not, then there would be if I could actually finish one of them. CD Real Mente Jitil, I hope I pronounced that right, asks, why wasn't Timothy the Goat's Engine in the Creepypasta video? Because I didn't know about it when I made it, and even when I looked it up, I still don't think it would make the list. Thoughts on FNAF 1 through 4? Great, good, underrated, great. Christopher Wiley asks, do you think John Cena vs. Charlie Morningstar is a good Death Battle matchup? I hope that's a joke matchup, because otherwise I don't understand why you would put a WWE wrestler against a fictional demon character from Hazbin Hotel. Clay says, I promise I will be the only person asking 3 questions. Well, I know you couldn't have known this at the time of writing it, but that aged very poorly since quite a few people dared to ask 3 and even 4 questions. But anyways, what is your opinion on the live-action Cinderella film? I actually never saw it, but I've heard it's the only good Disney live-action remake. What is your opinion on Trolls Band Together? I also didn't see that because I don't care for trolls. Crocodile Chris M asks, do you think Viacom, Warner Music Group, and Sony are the worst companies to be on YouTube? I don't have much experience with the first two, but I don't think Sony is that bad. Yeah, they make dumb decisions from time to time, but they can deliver where it counts. Do you think Gamergate 2.0 is one of the worst things to ever happen this year? Oh boy, this is a loaded question. I don't normally script my answers for these Q&As, but this one requires a bit more elaboration to answer. So, for those who don't know, the original Gamergate was a movement by gamers to protect journalistic integrity after bitch Anita Sarkeesian tried to introduce radical isms of all kinds into the gaming landscape. It went over just as well as you'd expect. Gamergate 2.0, meanwhile, is more of a culture war between left-wing and right-wing gamers fighting to keep games quote-unquote pure and stop one side from injecting their politics into every aspect of gaming. Now, is there a good side in this culture war? Not really. On the one hand, the left is hell-bent on pushing politics over art, and if you don't agree with them 100% all the time, you're slandered, cancelled, and in one instance given a bounty for your defiance. And when all that translates to the gaming industry, you get garbage like Concord's awful character designs, the horrible dialogue, limiting character customizer, and blunt LGBT representation in Dragon Age the Veilguard, and Dustborn. Just Dustborn. On the other hand, though, the right has spent so much time pushing against these ideals that they've taken it way too far to the point where some of them have actually become the biggest the left constantly says they are. This has resulted in some pathetic outrage from their side about stuff like Ghost of Yote having a female protagonist, Maria's updated design in the Silent Hill 2 remake, and the creation of the abhorrent Count the Minority game. No, seriously, some right-wingers like Synthetic Man will actively look for any characters that aren't straight, white, or male, point them out, and call the game worse for their mere inclusion, regardless of their actual purpose in the game. So to answer your question, my opinion is that Gamergate 2.0 isn't a bad thing inherently. It just needs to be controlled better. The left should really keep their politics away from games, unless they have a good, genuine story to tell, and the right needs to chill the f*** out and focus on the stuff that's actually problematic, instead of calling everything that isn't a straight white male bad. It's not the representation of the group that matters, it's how they're represented. Dangerman 101 asks, what is your favorite death battle ever? I honestly don't know. There are so many good ones that I don't think I can pick a favorite. Did you not like Bowser vs. Eggman? Au contraire, my friend, I thought it was amazing. I just think they're wrong. Dark Age asks, what are your thoughts on Mr. Puzzles from the SNG4 series? I actually never watched any of the arcs involving Mr. Puzzles, so I can't really say. What are your thoughts on the movies that came out this year that you've watched? Off the top of my head, from the ones I remember, Abigail was a fun, raunchy horror movie, Despicable Me 4 was kinda mid, Inside Out 2 was really good, and The Greatest Christmas Pageant Ever was a really sweet movie. David the Music Man asks, what is your favorite DLC expansion? Call it recency bias or Sonic bias or whatever, but the Final Horizon is my favorite. Favorite Final Boss Scenes remake? Someday. I do intend to remake that list, but I don't know when. Delayed Reaction Man asks, who is your favorite voice actor for Sonic the Hedgehog? Roger Craig Smith. Do you prefer Knuckles the Echidna or Shadow the Hedgehog as Sonic's rival? Originally, it was between Shadow and Metal Sonic, and I chose Metal Sonic, but if Metal Sonic's not an option, then Shadow. Knuckles worked for what he was originally, but there was only so many times where you could have him fight Sonic. Edgelord asks, if you could be a Paper Mario villain and had the stats, attacks, health, and design of that villain, who would you be? I'd be Dementio. I've always liked Dementio. Would you rather be trapped in Minecraft Hardcore but could escape if you get all the achievements, items, and beat the game, or be trapped in a random Roblox game forever with no way out? Obviously, I'm gonna pick Minecraft Hardcore. At least then I'd eventually get out at some point. With my luck, I'd be trapped in the random Roblox obby forever. And Mr. Turbo Man asks, what's your top 3 favorite Mario RPGs? These all come from Mario and Luigi because I haven't played much of the others, but here you go. Bowser's Inside Story at number 1, Partners in Time at number 2, and Paper Jam at number 3, as big of a hot take as that is. If Sonic X Shadow had a stage from Shadow the Hedgehog, which one would you choose to add? Westopolis, if only because it's the most popular one, for all the wrong reasons. Ethan Kasem asks, what is your favorite game on the PS5 so far? Stellar Blade, my game of the year. Extreme Fan 88 asks, how do you feel about the upcoming Bendy movie? I'm excited at the idea, but we'll have to wait and see what it's about before I get truly invested. Have you played Indigo Park? If so, what are your thoughts on it? I have not played Indigo Park, but from what I've seen, it looks like a pretty good first attempt at a video game, though there is definitely room for improvement. Fiction Boy asks, if one video game cast member from the Sonic games could reprise their role as their character for a future Sonic movie, who would it be and why? I would like to see Bryce Papenbrook return as Silver, because I honestly think he's the best version of Silver we've gotten. I just love his delivery. Aside from Rayman, which Ubisoft franchise do you think got disrespected more? Probably Assassin's Creed. I know it's like their cash cow, but they've milked it so dry that it's basically a skeleton now. And from the looks of things from Shadows, it looks like this is gonna kill the whole company. FN Edits asks, what's your opinion on Cuphead? I like Cuphead. I don't play it very often, but when I do, I usually have a good time. What's your favorite horror game? It's between Bendy and the Dark Revival and Alien Isolation. I'm not sure which one I prefer more at the moment, but right now, I can go with either and be a happy camper. The Ghost with the Most asks, have you played the Mario and Luigi games? And if you have, what are your opinions on them? I love the Mario and Luigi games. Some of them aren't as good as the rest, but they're all at least great. Godzilla Reader asks, what is your ideal concept for a horror game? I don't really have one, just give me a good atmosphere with some really scary enemies and maybe a roaming threat too, on top of good characters with a great story, and you're good. Do you think the designs of the Titans feel a bit out of place in the world of Sonic or no? I don't think so, but for those who do, I think that might be the point. I mean, they're found in an unexplored area of the Sonic world, and they come from outer space, so... Go Mifune asks, Blue Falcon or Blue Thunder? Blue Falcon. If you had to pick a 2-digit number, which one would you choose? 17. Don't ask why. Greninja the Mario Kart and Pokemon fan asks, what do you think of the Mega Mushroom, Pow Block, and Thundercloud from Mario Kart Wii? I haven't played Mario Kart Wii in a very long time, but from what I remember, they were fun items to use, and subsequently get screwed over by. If the fake item box were to return, would you completely rework it to be more convincing like Mario Kart 64 and infect a real item box instead of being a worse banana that nobody falls for? Probably. I mean, a giant red item box, that's not suspicious at all. GTA Fan 1.6 asks, who do you think will win in a fight? Tom from Tom and Jerry or Sylvester from Looney Tunes? From what I remember from watching their cartoons, my money leans towards Tom because he seems to be the smarter of the two. Though that certainly isn't saying much regarding these two. Do you think that Homer Simpson versus Peter Griffin death battle should happen? Absolutely, I do think it should happen sometime. I know they had an official crossover, but that shouldn't stop it from happening at all. Gunzeal08 asks, what games did you want so badly from the past and the future? I don't have many games left that I don't already own from the past, but in terms of what we're getting in the future, I'm excited for Metroid Prime 4 and have interest in the Okami sequel. Since my favorite Sonic villain is Metal Sonic, what variation of him do you think is the best? I really like Super Neo Metal Sonic. I haven't seen much of him from the comics, but from what I have seen, he looks really cool. Hardhead Guy 42 asks, do you have any ideas for E-Rods during your KH hiatus? Oh, do I ever. In fact, you guys are going to be able to pick which E-Rods I do in the following year. How much time do you spend editing your videos? It varies. Sometimes it's several hours a day, and sometimes it's only a couple. It really depends on how long the video is and what I have to do that day. Honor D asks, whatever happened to Dark Tony? Is he essentially gone now? No, he's still around. In fact, he made a cameo in the Sonic X Shadow Generations review. I've just had difficulty putting him in following videos. Why did you decide to not show your face anymore? I don't know, I figured it was time for a change. I Like Corn Dogs asks, do you like Nickelodeon's Ren and Stimpy? I never saw that show. Do you think Crash Bandicoot should have a movie? Absolutely, a Crash Bandicoot movie would be so fun. I'm Famous, right? asks, why 2 questions? Because doing 3 year after year as my audience grows was gonna get really hard really fast, so I decided to lower it to 2. Impression Works 1 asks, are you excited for Sonic Movie 3? Is the sky blue? What would your prediction be for the plot of the Super Mario Bros. Movie 2? I have no idea. I can only assume they'll introduce more characters and get even crazier than last time. Indie Skits asks, have you heard of the Friday Night Funkin' mod Mario's Madness? And if you answered yes, then what is your favorite song from that mod? I have heard of Mario's Madness, and I've even played it. And as for my favorite song, it's between Golden Land and Power Down. Infinite Master 85 asks, what do you think of Phantasma vs. Darkrai and Luigi vs. Shaggy? They're fine enough matchups. I've grown more fond of Phantasma vs. Darkrai, and Luigi vs. Shaggy is just fine, though it is probably Luigi's best matchup. Can you one day do a ranking of Mario or Resident Evil villains? Yeah, sure, I could do that someday. I don't know when, but someday. Jack asks, what is your favorite Keyblade in the whole Kingdom Hearts series? The Ultimate Keyblade, if only because I'm a sucker for the most powerful stick. Do you think Paper Mario is a separate character from an alternate universe, or the same Mario we always play as? I think the first 3 are stories that the real Mario went on, while the following 3 are an alternate universe where Paper Mario lives. Jack Smith asks, will you make an era of Final Fantasy someday? Depends on which Final Fantasy you're talking about, because those games are long and require dedication in order to do. Jamil Zayas asks, indie or AAA? I prefer indie, but I can take a good AAA game from time to time. Janice Rivera asks, who wins, Alistair or Mr. Puzzles? I have no idea because I don't know either character. Thoughts on Death Battle's Bill Cipher vs. Discord? It was fun, well animated, and pretty outrageous. Joey asks, did you see the tweet titled, this will forever be the Sonic main cast for me? No, because I don't use Twitter. Have you heard of Nuts vs. Guts? Regrettably. Joshua Lara asks, do you have a goal set for your YouTube career at the moment? Actually, I had one already. It was the Help Wanted 2 rewrites. That was a huge milestone for me, but in terms of right now, I'm just trying to make whatever content I feel like and make you guys happy. Which past Sonic game do you think deserves to be re-released? Sonic Heroes. It should be on more than just the GameCube and the PS2 and the Xbox and technically PC, but not really. JP3 asks, who would win, Metal Sonic or Cell? I don't know enough about Cell to really make a definitive statement, but according to Death Battle Cast, Metal Sonic apparently wins, which I'm happy with. Just a Guy asks, if you could relive one of your favorite video game experiences, what would it be? It would be the first time I played Undertale. That game is so magical to me, and I would give almost anything to experience it for the first time again. If you have played / are playing Mario and Luigi Brothership, what's the one thing that it does better and worse from the previous games? The thing it does better, I'd say, is the animation quality. That stuff is straight out of a cartoon in all the best ways. But the thing it does worse is the pacing. It is so unbearably slow. Like, if you thought Dream Team was wearing the iron boots, Brothership is dragging the great knife. It is that unbearably slow. Just Your Normal Joe asks, if you like pizza, what are your favorite pizza toppings? Pepperoni and occasionally sausage. Do you have a favorite holiday to celebrate? Halloween. I love that spooky season. Cavion Matthews asks, do you enjoy Mario Kart? If so, which installment would you say is your favorite? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I know it sounds pretty obvious to pick the most recent one, but come on, it's so good. Laura Guillemette asks, what is the worst show you ever saw and why? Does Velma count? Because I technically didn't even watch that show. I just saw clips and reviews on the internet. But if it does, then absolutely that one. That show is just hate incarnate. Who is your most hated video game character and why? The Mimic from FNAF. Every time I think of this character, I'm just angry. I even have a whole video explaining why I hate him. Elfon TV asks, if you could create any partner for the next Paper Mario game, which enemy would you pick? I'd like to see either a Piranha Plant or a Chain Chomp partner. I think that'd be really unique. Linda L asks, have you seen the Hello Neighbor cartoon? It's surprisingly good. I technically have seen it. I've seen Postra and the Baddest watch it, and it is surprisingly good. It's probably the best piece of Hello Neighbor media, honestly. If you could add one more character in Smash, who would it be? Dr. Ivo Eggman. Malik Pierre Lewis asks, what DC Comics media are you a fan of and why? I really like the Batman Arkham games. They're really good. Are you a fan of Star Wars? Not necessarily. I'm more so a casual enjoyer because there's a lot of bad mixed with the good in that franchise. Mario and Sonic fan asks, so after the Year of Shadow, the natural next step is the Year of Silver. Do you think Sega will actually do it? I would hope so, but I doubt it's going to be anytime soon. I would love it if they did, though. Made any progress on Tears of the Kingdom? Nope, I have been way too busy with so many things. Marshall's Arts asks, if you were a Pokemon gym leader, what would your team and gym challenge be? I have no idea because I don't play Pokemon, but if I had to guess, probably something along the lines of a fighting electric build for my team? I don't know. Master M asks, pick a favorite dungeon in Breath of the Wild and another one in Tears of the Kingdom. I can't speak for Tears of the Kingdom because I barely played any of it, but for Breath of the Wild, I would have to go with Von Naboris. I think that's the most unique and entertaining of the ones. Micah Hayward asks, what's your favorite version of Meta Knight? Believe it or not, Morpho Knight. I just think he's really cool and really intimidating. Would you rather try to get an S rank on Eggman Land on the Xbox / PS3 or win one race in Sonic Freeriders? Actually, believe it or not, I would rather win one race of Sonic Freeriders because if it's just one, I can manage. It's beating the whole game that's frustrating. Mo2 says, I'm a fan from Seoul, Korea, and have been a fan of you since your parody of EU Cinema Sins. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to be in this Q&A. You're welcome, and I'm glad to see I have fans from all over the world and not just America, even though that is a large chunk of my audience. I'm a relatively new Sonic fan. I've played in S-Rank Sonic and the Black Knight, Sonic Rush Adventures, Sonic 06, and Sonic Colors DS. Are there any other games you would like to recommend for me? Oh, absolutely! Sonic Colors Wii or Ultimate, Sonic Unleashed, Sonic X Shadow Generation, Sonic Frontiers, and so on and so forth. Check out the whole series if you can. What are your thoughts on the live-action Sonic the Hedgehog movies? The first one's good, the second one's great, and I'm hyped for the third one, although I haven't seen it yet at the time of writing this. Mr. Fredfire asks, why don't you want to play Doki Doki Literature Club? Because it just doesn't seem like my kind of game. Like, normally I'm into horror games, but this one requires a lot of reading and a lot of waiting in order to actually get to the scary stuff. If you had to pick another voice actor for any Sonic character, who would it be? I have no idea. I'm not versed enough in the voice acting community to really say. Niall Alikhan asks, since Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4 are coming next year, who do you think the Knight is going to be? My bets are on either Chris or Rules Card being the Knight. They seem like the most likely candidates, but if it isn't either of them, then I have no idea. What are some movies you consider to be your biggest guilty pleasures? Contrary to video games, I don't have that many guilty pleasure movies. It's often I either like it, I love it, or I don't like it, or I hate it. So, in terms of a guilty pleasure, I guess some of the Friday the 13th movies? I don't know. Nicholas Franco asks, do you like pineapple on pizza? Who's your least favorite critic YouTuber? The Synthetic Man. A lot of the things he says are wrong and bad, and in some videos he comes off as an actual racist and sexist. Seriously, just watch a Spider-Man 2 video and you'll see exactly what I mean. Paper Bros asks, what do you think the next Sonic game will be? Well, we got a teaser for a new Sonic racing game, but in terms of mainline stuff, I'm willing to bet it's going to be either a new 2D or a new 3D game. We'll have to wait and see. What are you most excited for in 2025? Honestly, Metroid Prime 4. That's really it. Piffle Neo asks, how does it feel having to make these videos in the realm of memories?
Well, this sucks.
Preston B asks, what are your thoughts on mobile gaming? It's a burning forest with only a few healthy trees. Which Sonic game or games would you want remastered? Well, everyone wants a Sonic Unleashed remaster, but I'm more interested in the Storybook remaster, and maybe a Heroes remaster, though I think that one deserves a remake more. Preston the Fox asks, out of the movies we got trailers for, which are you most excited for? Honestly, just the How to Train Your Dragon remake. I know that's surprising, but it's the best of the bunch. Who's your favorite Mario's Madness character? MX. He's also my favorite Mario.exe related character. Puzzle Gear asks, will the third Sonic movie be the best in the franchise? I hope so, but we'll have to wait and see. How do you feel about Mario and Luigi Brothership? Okay, I know I said what I thought was the best and worst aspects of it earlier, but this is my overall thoughts, and in that sense, it's in competition with Superstar Saga for my least favorite Mario and Luigi game. Now don't get me wrong, it's still good, but I find a lot more to criticize about it than any of the other games aside from Superstar Saga, and even then, I'm kinda back and forth on it. Pyro the Meme Lord asks, what's your favorite genre of music? Rock and roll. Rafael Pereira Gomez asks, which version of Sonic Generations do you think handled Sonic Adventure 1 better? The HD one or the 3DS one? Well, as much as I like the 3DS version of Gens way more than most people, I will admit that the HD version handled Sonic Adventure 1 better. What's your second favorite remix for each version of Generations? Well, for the HD one, I go with Crisis City Modern, and for the 3DS version, Mushroom Hill Modern. Reese M's asks, have you ever read or seen any Sonic fan media? Read, no, but seen, I've seen quite a few Sonic fan games. Everyone knows about Project 06, but I've also seen fan games like Before and After the Sequel and Omens. Even though I wish I didn't for that last one. Renai asks, how do you feel about the fact that Sonic Heroes may never get ported to modern consoles? Well, I think it has something to do with the fact that the engine that was used to make Heroes is no longer being used, so I understand that bit, but that doesn't stop me from being really disappointed. Will we see DT review the eventual Sonic X Shadow Generations DLC where you play as Movie Shadow? A review? Not so much because it is just a level pack, but maybe you'll see a live playthrough, who knows? Ricardo Storm Surge Silva asks, what would you say is the better Thanksgiving main course, ham or turkey? Well, obviously you gotta have turkey for a Thanksgiving meal, but in terms of the food to eat, I prefer ham overall. I've never been a lover of turkey, it's always just been kinda there. Riley asks, what is your opinion on Vector as a character? He's good, never been one of my favorites, but he's always nice to see. What do you think of Excalibur Sonic from Black Knight? A really cool super form that I wish we got to see more, but at the same time it wouldn't fit anywhere else. Ryan Thomas Fisk asks, what are your top 5 favorite songs? I actually can't answer that right now because I listen to so many songs regularly that I flip-flop between them constantly. I could probably tell you what my favorite song is, but even then, I think I'll save that for a future video. What's your favorite anime? Sonic X, by virtue of being the only one I've actually sat down and watched all the way through. Samantha Powell asks, have you heard of SNG4? Why yes, in fact I used to be subscribed to him. I only unsubscribed because I lost interest. Have you tried poutine? No. Samurai 2020 asks, of all the animated movies to come out this year, which one is your favorite? Inside Out 2, by virtue of being the only animated movie I saw this year. Yes, I'm sorry I didn't see The Wild Robot, I just didn't have time. What are your thoughts on the Sonic 3 movie DLC in Sonic X Shadow Generations? I actually haven't played it yet. I intend to, but I haven't. Savage Genius asks, what is your favorite FNF mod that does not feature Sonic.exe? Mario's Madness, because that features Mario.exe, not Sonic.exe. Okay, but for real though, my favorite will probably be versus FNAF 2. Who do you consider to be your most hated TV show character ever? Surprising as it may seem, I really hate Erica Sinclair from Stranger Things. She's just so obnoxious 24/7, especially with her really annoying "just the facts" catchphrase. I get it, she's meant to be a brat, but there comes a point where she's not only a brat to the characters, but also to the audience. Serena & Co. asks, what would you think if Sega made a Sonic villain like Sonic.exe in the next Sonic game? I'd call them cowards, because if they're gonna make a Sonic.exe-like villain, there's no point in them not using Sonic.exe himself. What Sonic game do you consider your guilty pleasure game? Probably Forces. 06 is in pretty stiff competition too, but they're also pretty far apart in my original game ranking. The Shadow Reviewer asks, I heard rumors that there would be more Sonic movies in the future. Which character would you like to see in live action? Silver, Blaze, Metal Sonic, and a ton of others, really. Simply Mark asks, how would you do a Mario and Sonic crossover? I'd have Bowser and Eggman team up to conquer both worlds, and Mario and Sonic team up to stop them on an open world 3D platformer. /10 Gamer of Gamers asks, what storytelling do you think is underrated? I think the more simplistic side of storytelling is really underrated. I mean, not everything needs to be this deep or complex narrative. Sometimes you just need simple fun that's well written. What series that hasn't gotten anything new in 1 or 2 decades would you like to see get a new installment? Kid Icarus, Rayman, and Knights, in that order. Star Entertainment asks, what would your favorite non-Sonic franchise be? Super Mario. Summer Sensation asks, how would you fix your least favorite video game? I'd give it actual controls, and I'd give it actual cutscenes with an actual story. Super Caden Gamer TV asks, should 2025 be a year of silver? I don't know about that. As much as I would love a year of silver, I feel like the stars have to align just right for it to really feel special. We can't do it immediately after a year of shadow, you know? What do you think of Sonic Dream Team? I never finished it, but from when I played, it looks like it could be fun if it was on consoles instead of a phone. Super Mario Trio asks, what's your opinion on Shadow the Hedgehog? I really hate it. It's practically the definition of a waste of time, and even though some of my friends consider it to be a guilty pleasure or even fine, I can't bring myself to say the same. Techno asks, how would you fix Sonic's Smash moveset? I'd keep the homing attack, but replace every other special move with something from Frontiers, and then make Super Sonic a bit more dynamic. Thoughts on the rumored Switch successor? Ugh, I feel nothing towards the Switch successor. So many people have talked about it, now it's going to be so great, now it's definitely coming this year, but until Nintendo gives us something concrete and actually shows us the damn thing, I'm not holding my breath. TFFan102 Mark II asks, have you heard of Gravity Circuit? Yes, I have. I haven't played it, but I have heard of it. Do you think Sonic 06 should get a remake? It technically already has through Project 06, but in terms of official stuff, I'm curious, but worried what they do with an official remake. TM Amolga asks, will you answer this question? I would if you had anything to say. Toby asks, thoughts on Kirby right back at ya? I never saw the whole show, just a couple episodes that were part of a Wii Kirby collection, but from what I've seen, it seems like a fun show. Tony, not to be confused with me, asks, if Sonic and Kirby met outside of Smash, who would play with Kirby, and would he enjoy Tails' playing? I think Cream would be the most likely one to play with Kirby, and I think he'd enjoy riding around in Tails' plane. He's a very joyful fella. Top Hat asks, do you play Genshin Impact? If so, what do you think of it, and who's your favorite character? I do not play Genshin Impact. I've been tempted to multiple times, but it just does not seem like my thing, and I also hate gambling. If you were a big-time game developer, what kind of genre would your game be? It'd be something in the horror genre. Not sure what, but I think I have some cool ideas that would work well in a horror setting. Uraraka Now Queen Hoppy Steel 34. Man, what are these usernames, ass? Have you ever seen some sort of anime? I've only seen Sonic X. Aside from that, I've only ever seen clips. Vinster asks, do you play Mario Party? And if you do, what are your favorite boards? I used to play Mario Party, but I don't anymore since I don't have anyone to play it with, and I couldn't tell you what my favorite boards are. How would you rank the 4 major DreamWorks franchises from worst to best? Okay, Madagascar at the bottom, then comes Shrek, then comes Kung Fu Panda, and at the top, How to Train Your Dragon. Virtual Productions asks, is there an underrated game you could recommend? I'll give you 2, fnaf 3 and Mario & Luigi Paper Jam. In your opinion, what makes a good horror game? A good horror game has a great atmosphere with really scary enemies, and even scarier roaming monsters, though that's not always necessary, and a good story with some great characters you can really get behind. Wafi Haderi asks, how do you feel about 2 of your top 10 most wanted death battles coming true in a row? I feel fantastic, and there's a 3rd one on the way. I might need to update the list soon, though I will wait until at least half the list is done. Will 5 Nights asks, what are your thoughts on the new Sonic 3 and Minecraft movie trailers? The former makes the film look even better than it already does, and the latter makes it look less bad? I have no hope for the Minecraft movie. Out of all the Nightmare animatronics, which one do you like the best and worst? In my opinion, Grim Foxy is the best and Nightmare BB is the worst. William Nee asks, what was your favorite show or shows to watch growing up? Phineas and Ferb and Thomas and Friends, at least off the top of my head. I know I definitely watched a lot of other shows. Which characters do you think Death Battle characterized the best and worst respectively? In terms of the best, I really like the characterization for Silver and the Doctor, but in terms of the worst, Aang and Mario are pretty strong contenders. They just got them so wrong. XenoJamie2003 asks, what are your top 3 favorite final bosses? I'm not sure about the 3rd one, but I can tell you the top 2. Number 2 would be the Neguist Farmer from Sonic Colors, and number 1 would be Azrael Dreamer from Undertale. Yeah, I'm stalking you, ass. Was there one specific game or something else that got you hooked onto Sonic? Not really. My mom just used to play the original Genesis games and then she let me play them, and I've been a fan ever since then. YouTube Social HD2 asks, what are your thoughts on the Fearless Year of Shadow campaign that has happened this year? It's been fun enough, I suppose. I'm impressed by the lengths they've gone, and I really like Shadow Generations, but I've also never been that big into Shadow, so make of that what you will. What is your favorite level in the Shadow Generations mode of Sonic X Shadow Generations? I said this in my review of the game, but if you don't want to migrate over to there, my favorite level was Sunset Heights. Giovanni Outerverse 18 asks, what are your thoughts on the Sonic Twitter takeovers, and what is one of your favorite moments from them? I really like the Sonic Twitter takeovers, they're a lot of fun. And as for one of my favorite moments, I gotta go with the Tails Mint scene, it's just so funny. Zen Chantrell asks, thoughts on the fan-made game series Sonic RPG? I have never seen or played any of it. Any Nick Jr. shows that you have a soft spot for? Oh yeah, totally. Dora the Explorer, Blue's Clues, I could go on and on. Zero the Jackal 2005 asks, are you gonna play some FNAF fan games like Five Nights at Wario's and Five Nights at Sonic's? I don't know about those specifically, but I would like to play some others like Playtime with Percy and the Joy of Creation remake. And last but not least, Zero Kage asks, what is your most wanted feature in a Sonic game? I really want to see an expansion on the parkour system from Lost World. It was a good idea that needs some fine tuning. Well, that's all the questions we have for this year. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.